Hi, I'm Ken the Critic, and you're on WeAreAustin.com. And I'm here today talking about the new movie, Attack the Block, with director Joe Cornish, Nick Frost, and Edgar Wright. My first question is for you, Joe. I was just wondering, this movie is about a teen gang in South London, and they're being invaded by aliens. Mm-hmm. And I know you wanted to always do something where aliens were evading humans, and you wanted to do it in your neighborhood. Tell me a little bit about that and where you got the idea.
Well, it sort of stemmed from, I was the victim of a mugging about 7 or 8 years ago, and it was in the area I grew up in, and I loved the area I grew up in, but it's kind of a mixed area of South London. It's not the most, high-end area of London. As a result, I spend a lot of my life defending it. You know that thing where sometimes you tell people where you live and they go, "Oh, that's nice. Is it okay? Are you all right?" kind of thing. And I love my area. So this one bad thing happened to me after 35 years of living there, and it kind of freaked me out. And it made me think two things. It made me think, first of all, I want to go and talk to that kid, because I bet I pass that kid in the street every day. We're probably on the same level of Call of Duty. We probably watch the same TV shows, and we could have a conversation like friends. And it just seemed a really artificial situation. He looked frightened. It was like a kind of ritual, And the second thing it made me think is, what would have happened if that situation had been interrupted by some out-of-this-world thing, something from the movies I loved as a kid, like E.T. and Ghostbusters and Terminator. What if something high concept went down at that precise moment? So yeah, that was the origin of the idea.
Y'all have known each other for a very long time. How did y'all all come to know each other, and also why did you step behind the camera to be a director?
Well, I can answer this for Joe, so I can be immodest instead of him. Joe is I've known Joe for 12 years, and I was a fan of Joe's before I even met him, because he had done this TV show called The Adam and Joe Show, an award-winning TV show in the UK. And so, when we met, in a DVD store, 12 years ago, it felt like, I think the kind of conversation literally went, "Oh, we should be friends. We do similar things." Because I think by that point, Spaced, the TV show that me and Nick had done, been on TV. So we've been friends for many years, and then we started collaborating together, and we wrote a couple of scripts together. And Joe kind of you were sort of around some of the process of Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. And during the process of writing with Joe, he had his own script that he wanted to make his directorial debut. So my part in Attack the Block as one of the executive producers was kind of helping him kind of make that movie. And it was done under the same umbrella, same production company as Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Paul, Scott Pilgrim, and now Attack the Block.
So how did you become the executive producer?
Because I just wanted a fancy title. I'd never been called Nick.
He was. I wanted Edgar's. I wanted Edgar to be there as a brain to consult, because he's a close friend and very experienced, and it was my first time. So it was great for me to have Edgar exec producing and Nick in the film, because they're people who have got a lot of experience, and they're friends, and that's really valuable. I don't have to stand on ceremony. I can be really honest. If I think I'm screwing something up, I can be, straightforward with them about it. So it's very valuable. I recommend it to anybody if they have friends who are successful actors and filmmakers.
So Nick, you played Roy, and this teen gang, they attacked this lady. And tell me about your character and when you come into the movie.
He's like the local weed man, I guess. I think he has a certain kind of Fagin to him. He likes these boys that come in and buy a bit of weed off him, and he has a big telly, and he lets them sit around and smoke weed. And as Joe quite rightly puts it, he always saw Roy a bit like Bruce Dern in Silent Running. He's up there tending the last kind of patch of green in his block.
And then, just like in The Wire, they use young kids to distribute this weed. So that's the connection between Ron and these kids. They're corner boys, basically.
Y'all have been very successful making the transition over to America with Spaced and Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. Why do you think that Americans are attracted to this type of British humor?
Well, I can't, you know, my movie's just premiering tonight, so I'm not sure whether Americans will be attracted to my kind of British humor, but I'll pass you over to the guy who has proven that.
Still under the producers.
Well, I think sort of maybe, you know, like the thing that connects all the films we mentioned before is they're all like, you know, they're all genre films, but like, you know, with a particular kind of viewpoint or slant. And I think Attack the Block is more of a genre film than it is a comedy. Like I wouldn't call it it's not a comedy first and foremost like Hot Fuzz and Paul are. So it's but I think what we all have in common is that the thing that links Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and Attack the Block is we've all grown up watching these genre films mostly from other countries, and you know, we all have like sort of active imaginations, and we want to see some of that kind of sci-fi mayhem erupt on our doorsteps. So I think that's what it is. And then I think sort of people, you know, certainly when Shaun of the Dead came out, I think people appreciated it because it was something different from what Hollywood was offering, and I think that's the same with Attack the Block as well.
So Nick, what did you like more about your character playing Roy than you have with other characters?
I didn't have to cut my hair, which was quite nice. I liked, you know, I think it was a chance for me to work with essentially a cast of kids who had never acted before. That kind of interested me a lot, you know, to see how they would do it, how they would react to. It's a lot of pressure, you know, for a young lad to come on set and to make a film. So, you know, I wanted to see what they did, and I wanted to see what Joe did too. You know, as you said, he's been a friend of mine for a long time, and I wanted to help. I wanted to watch him, and I wasn't disappointed. He was great.
I'm also interested about the aliens in this movie, as opposed to the aliens, the look of them, as opposed to the aliens that we're accustomed to.
My film is pretty low budget. We couldn't really afford to do CGI aliens. Plus, my personal affections lie in 80s movies. You know, I remember coming home and drawing the Stay Puft Man after I watched Ghostbusters. And I often think today with these complicated CGI creatures, you need a fine art degree to draw them. You know, they're kind of so real, they're hyper real. And they're almost so realistic, they become unrealistic again. And I like the old practical stuff in the 80s where there was a bit of authorship, a bit of style. And I think the same could be said for Paul, you know, the design of Paul in Paul. It's got character. And sometimes it feels in contemporary movies that there's like an app, a creature app, and all the movies use the same, and they're all grey and hyper-detailed. So I wanted to do something a little bit more like the 80s stuff that I loved, you know, a little bit more authored. Yeah, so they do have a kind of graphic quality. You're going to get something that's more akin to, you know, Gremlins or Tremors or Critters or the movies that I loved. Hopefully still scary and I think unlike anything anyone's seen before, but yeah, more kind of stylized.